and welcome to another episode of Ghost History Medium. We made the short hike up through the Ramapo Mountain State Forest to get to the Slyke's castle. These are ruins that anybody can access. They're public at this point, and we're right at the top of a mountain. It's a beautiful view. It's a nice evening, so let's see if we can find out if there's any individuals here who would like to talk about this location, or see if I can pick up any of the history of what did happen here. Okay, so I just opened up and asked for permission to read this location if any individuals who would like to come forward to talk about the location. And the one individual I did already encounter is a male. And I'm going to show you how he was appearing to me. I kind of talked about him earlier as we were walking up the street here, up the driveway. So he has suspenders. He has like he's got a white shirt, white pants. He's very fashionable, but it's like that rich, wealthy, like lightish linens. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the linen clothes, like they kind of wear like when they're out in Africa or something. But he has suspenders.
It's like baggy-ish.
Very loose linen clothes.
Yeah.
This feels like a summer home. It feels like, I mean, obviously these are very, very, very wealthy individuals. This feels like a summer home. It feels like a businessman. He does feel like he's associated with some type of business. He's even smoking a cigar right now. So he's like, I was very wealthy. I was very successful. He's associated with another gentleman. There's two gentlemen that are associated with this place at the same time frame. They might be business partners. But the one that's more specifically coming forward, I do feel like he's a little bit rounder. He's about in his 60s. He just very wealthy, and he promenades around his property and is just like, yes, like I did this. He chose this spot because it looks at New York City, and he chose this spot because it's high up, and that again is like luxury. He said getting the material here was luxury in itself. But this was meant to be a summer home. I do feel like he had a wife. I do feel like he had children. But it's him and this other gentleman that are associated with, I think they're business partners. This is like 1909, 1910. Yeah, okay, so they had this property for, I want to say maybe like 20 to 30 years, but the Depression like hit them super hard. Whatever their business was hit really hard by the Depression. They owned it before the Depression, and I think they had to sell it after the Depression. And I'm saying like, again, I don't know if they were like business partners. Like, I don't know if these two men built it together,
okay,
or if like they were associated with the business that allowed them to have enough money. The word railroad keeps coming up, and I don't know if that's the business. It might be an iron business. I don't know, some type of business. Okay, so they had this, and they built it. It was for entertaining. It was for the summer. They had, I do feel like they had balls. I am seeing, like, especially when I went in here. We can go around to the side. Okay. Yeah, get a little comfy here. I have my millimeter. Maybe I've gotten one reading down at the road, 3.4, but other than that, I really haven't had any readings on it. Yeah, so balls. I do get the sense that there was like balls here, that they would have prominent people. So mayors, I'm seeing mayors. I'm seeing elite from New York City. Again, this feels all before the Depression. When was the Depression? In the 20s?
20s.
This feels before Depression. And then Depression happened, and then it didn't, I had to get rid of it. Maybe he even had business in Africa. I don't know. He's I do see him with like even a big bushy mustache too. A white male with a bowler hat, that rounded top bowler hat with the rim around.
That's been very popular.
Yeah. So the next, yeah, okay. So the next part of this structure is coming to me in the 50s. Like 1953 is the next part of the structure that's coming to me. This feels like another family took it. I don't know much about this family. They're not very prominent. I don't feel like they lived here very long. And that they sold it in this, no, 50s to 60s, a new family came in. 1950s to 1960s, a new family came in. This feels, okay, when I'm assessing this family structure, what I feel is that the woman is much more than the man. So like the family that had it before the Depression, I feel like the men were the most prominent. Like the men were the one that had the majority of the energy. And after the Depression in the 50s and 60s, the woman, there's a woman that's, I just got 4.4 on my 4.1 on my leg. There's a woman, and you have my phone, so I don't have anything on me that would.
No, I have your phone.
That would be having electricity. So the woman is. I don't really like her. I don't really like this woman. She's very stern. I do feel like there are 2 children associated with her and this man. And I'm being brought to, again, something in the 70s. So when I'm tuning into this woman, who her family bought this, again, it feels like the 50s to 60s. She feels older. Like I want to say maybe she was, and when I say older, I mean like also in her 50s to 60s when she bought this maybe. And she, I don't know, I don't think her kids lived in this with her, but it was like, I don't know, she was very lonely. Very lonely. There was resentment and hatred, a lot of anger. She had a lot of anger, this woman. She's taller, and how I picture her is kind of like a woman's, you know, like in the 70s and 80s, they had like power suits. Like I picture her in like a very fancy power suit, like very in charge, like very domineering, powerful. I don't know what she did as a profession, but she just seems like very all-encompassing. Like nobody could get a word in. I do see fights. I do see arguments. I do see arguments with this man. This man was not a match for her. She's like, nobody could be a match for me. I'm seeing her in a car. What are those cars? Like the Thunderbird T-Birds?
It looks like a sports car.
Kind of. It's pulling up. She's in it. Very independent. Like I don't, she's interesting. She's very angry. So then she takes me to the 70s with her. So I do feel like they owned this place for a bit. And I'm being taken to the 70s. And then she says all hell broke loose. Let me ask her what she means by that.
About like what happened to this place?
No, she says all hell broke loose. The agreement was broken. All hell broke loose. What was mine was mine. What was his. And it wasn't honored. And this might be divorce. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of resentment and anger from this woman. I don't know what he took from her, or what he didn't let her take. That may be actually what it is what he didn't let her take from him. I don't know. Yeah, he feels away. He feels away, like she might have been here alone a lot, and he was away either on business, or he just chose to live in the city or something like that. Getting an R name with him, but I always get R names. And so yeah, this feels like a terrible, terrible, bitter separation. And she wants to love this house, but she can't. She can't love this house. She can't love it. She can't keep it, and she can't love it because it's a constant reminder. I think she maybe got the house. But she couldn't love it after. And then I don't see anything after the 80s.
What about the owner?
What about the owner? Which one?
The man.
The man from the 1910s, 1920s?
What was he doing around then?
Around the 1910s, 1920s?
No, like in the 80s. He was dead, right?
Oh, he was dead, yeah. Long gone. He might have died in the 40s. But no, she's saying she couldn't love this place. She wanted to love it, but she couldn't. And it might have been a financial reason. It might have been personal reasons. She couldn't love this place. And I am seeing a fire. A huge, devastating fire where I do feel like there was like, even at that time, relics and furniture and curtains and stuff like that was still in here. So how did the state get a hold of this property? I heard endowment, but I don't know what that means. It might have been a tax write-off. It honestly might have been as simple as that. It's just like, for tax write-off, they give it to the state. Yeah, something super, which is, so the woman from that time frame, she doesn't really care that people come trancing in and out of here. She's like, it's a stick to him. She hates this man, whoever this man is. I mean, it's got to be her husband, I guess. He wouldn't let me do what I wanted to do. He wouldn't let me. This feels like she might have had an affair, and he wouldn't let her keep it up. So she got mad. Wow. I hope some of this is true. That would be pretty terrible if it's not. But yeah, otherwise, I think that woman, the one from the 50s and 60s, I think she did live in this more year-round. But the people from the 1910s, 1920s, this was just a summer place. And it was a very happy time when they had it. Very successful, very happy, super exciting, super fun. It's a shame it's just a shell like this. It must have been a beautiful home.
Must have been huge too. Because look, the roof is all caving. That's a second story.
Yeah.
Where there's 2 fireplaces, right? So one huge fireplace, and then the second story had the fireplace too.
Yeah. Yep. She goes, it was a cold and dreary place. She hated it.
Probably was cold up here in the winter though.
Yeah.
Facts.
It was a cold and dreary place. Well, I guess she like felt beholden to it, stuck to it. I don't know, something like that. Not the people who built it. They really liked it. They were really excited about it because they built it and they were very wealthy. It feels like railroad. I'm also getting something about tweed hats as far as his occupation, that first man. And yeah, then there was a fire. I feel like the fire was in the 80s.
How'd it catch on fire?
Well, it was abandoned. So I don't know. Maybe lightning? Maybe lightning? But there's really no way, there wasn't really a way for like, fire trucks to get here, I guess. And it just like totally burned. Yeah. It's a shame.
It's a shame there's graffiti everywhere too.
Yeah. It's also a shame that like now people just like trapeze through her house and she's like, I don't care. She's literally like, I don't care. I don't know, that's kind of all I'm getting. Those two families, that man and that woman, they're not related. They're not from the same family. Something to do about painting. Maybe there was a painter who lived here too at some point. Painting.
My kind of person.
Huh?
My kind of person.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing a painting. Maybe they invited people to come paint, but I'm seeing painting. Not from her. This is maybe it is from her. I don't know. I'm seeing painting. Very elaborate paintings. Yeah. Anything else that we passed a garden on the way in and a swimming pool on the way in. Those are pretty cool.
It's beautiful grounds.
Yeah, it is really pretty grounds. And it just sits up here silent. Well, minus the millions of planes that come by. I haven't had anything really go off on this since I've been sitting here. This is all residual. I don't feel like there's a... well, that woman's hatred's pretty strong, so people might experience her hatred. Her hatred, jealousy, anger, resentment, very strong from this woman. I also see her with brown curly hair, like almost like permed, not permed, but like curled, done up, like shoulder length curls done up. But she was a force, let me tell you that. She was a force. Anything else? Well, I think that's it for our short sitting today. We're gonna start making the hike back and look at the history and see if we can find the individuals who built it. There were 2 men in business and another woman and a different family, maybe in the 50s to 60s, that was in here. Something about a divorce, anger, resentment, and abandonment, and fire, I think in the 80s. 80s? Yeah. I don't think it was after 80s. Maybe early 90s, but no, I still feel like it was the 80s. And we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.